Minneapolis' Wait cityscape serves as a backdrop for the majesty about to unfold. Maybe you can't actually see the anticipation in the air, but there's no doubt you can feel it. On the downtown streets below, the crowds feel it. A community comes together to share the excitement. The streets themselves almost seem to vibrate with tension, about to show off the sights and sounds of beauty and fantasy aimed to captivate us all. And those who are about to do that captivating most certainly are ready. The last-minute preparations now moving at a frenzied pace. We feel it, we're waiting for it, and we're ready for it. The entertainment event extraordinaire, the 48th Annual Torchlight Parade.
KARE TV presents the 48th Annual Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. Brought to you by your neighborhood Taco Bell restaurant. Hey, Twin Cities, say hello to Taco Bell. Your hosts for tonight's parade, Paul Douglas, Willard Scott, Paul Majors, and Diana Pierce.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Torchlight Parade. I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Diana Pierce.
Welcome to the jewel of the Twin Cities Summer Classic, the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade, which is going to begin, I guess, in just about, what, a half hour?
Oh, you bet.
Somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. This year's celebration is called the Legend Sails, and it will most certainly be remembered for the brilliance and pageantry of tonight's events.
Judging by the crowd, lots of folks are ready for this thing, choosing to spend this summer night along the parade route. It's estimated some 250,000 people are lining the downtown streets, and several 100,000 more will be watching on TV.
And among the crowd, our own News 11 meteorologist, Paul Douglas.
And, of course, a very special guest, the godfather of weather himself, NBC Today Show's weatherman, Willard Scott. Willard, Paul.
Welcome. I want to point out that I am not a Smurf. I've already disappointed some little kids. They thought I was one of the Smurfs. I feel like Shrimp 11 standing next to this guy right here. America's weatherman, Willard Scott. Willard, a pleasure to have you in Minneapolis for the big parade.
Paul, and Di, my favorite team. Come here. I want you to meet somebody very special. Here is a WCCO vice president. Say hello to the folks. And that's one of the smarter ones. So it's going to be a big time. The best parade in town, the best people in town. And we'll be ready for work Monday.
The weather is great. It's about 85. It's going to be dry, severe mild out here for the Torchlight Parade.
And I love St. Paul. I love St. Paul.
Tell you what, we are in for a treat. A lot of work went into this parade, Willard, and a lot of feet as well. Did you know there will be 1,311 people marching the Torchlight Parade? That is 2,600 feet tromping and stomping tonight.
I think they're all in my room about an hour ago. I couldn't get dressed. I had a tux. I was going to try to look nice for you people. Look what I had to end up wearing, my tacky old jacket.
You look great.
Well, it's a nice night. We're going to have a good time.
Nice to have you here. Paul and Di, how did you get the sitting down part? That's what we want to know.
Yeah.
We should point out this is how we think best, sitting down. We also want to point out to you folks
sitting on
at
your
home.
Brains.
That's true. We also want to point out to you folks at home, Willard writes all of his own material.
That's true.
All of those comments were Willard's comments, not an editorial on
Mail order.
As we said earlier, this is the 48th Annual Summer Classic, and the Summer Festival has a very rich history indeed.
Kevin McDowell and Joan Steffen, our News 11 Weekend anchor team, have taken a look at what it takes to put together a Torchlight Parade now and then. And Kevin begins with the beginning.
For the Aquatennial, the showpieces have always been the parade. That was 1940. This is today. Obviously, there have been a few changes, not the least of which is that the hardware and paint store has long since been torn down. Now, that first parade kicked the Aquatennial off with a bang. It was the biggest parade ever. It lasted over 3 hours, had 86 floats, 50 bands, and 20,000 participants. No parade to come would ever match that.
My father showed me, he took me down to the first parade when I was 12 years old, and it was a spectacular affair.
Larry Egger is considered the parade's unofficial historian. He's been watching them for the past 47 years, and he's seen a lot of changes.
Of course, 42, 3, 4, 5, the Aquatennial theme was On to Victory. The 1946 theme was, it was a victory celebration.
The 40s and the 50s were the best years.
Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy.
Ornate floats, grueling competition between corporate sponsors. 1950 marked the first time that the parades were telecast. But all this would soon change. The 60s were the dark days. The country was in turmoil with Vietnam and racial unrest.
I think that the Aquatennial suffered somewhat. Participation dropped, obviously, but we continued.
In the 70s, a lot of corporate involvement on a regular basis stopped. Companies like Dayton's and Donaldson's didn't participate every year as before. Because of that, the parade became more of a statewide event with participants coming from all over. In the 80s, things seemed to stagnate.
They deteriorated not in their content, basically, but I think they deteriorated in a sameness. They got so that they all looked alike. There was nothing spectacularly new each year.
This year's A Parade organizers, that has all changed. The 87 parade will be spectacular. Joan Steffen has more on how it's all coming together.
The Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. It's a giant jigsaw puzzle to put together, but for every puzzle, there's a key piece connecting all the others. This year, that piece is Don Whiteley.
After the band, you could put the people from Australia in at 65.
It's Whiteley's job to keep all the details straight. A parade producer with a national reputation, it's also his job to make this year's parade better, but not bigger. A streamlined tradition with higher quality entries. You'll see the evidence in parade floats. This is KARE's new float, under construction in Detroit. Pride has everything to do with the marching bands in this year's parade. This is Long Prairie's band. Grand prize winners for 7 years, they have traveled from coast to coast, as have most of the bands in this year's Torchlight. The hard work will pay off for one of the high-class high school bands. A $5,111 prize is up for grabs. You can be the judge tonight, as all of the pieces of a very special Torchlight fall into place. Joan Steffen, News 11.
And as you can see by this live picture, here's where the last-minute pieces are falling into place. This is the staging area, where those who are taking part in tonight's parade are getting the last-minute touches all together. Their wheels are being warmed up, the bands have tuned up, and the flotilla of floats is just about to be finalized. And when we come back, we'll go back to Willard Scott and Paul Douglas for a little bit more fun of folks on the streets.
Yeah, and we're going to find out also how a parade can fill in a generation gap. We'll be right back.
Goodbye, old tricks. Hello, hello, Taco Bell. Hello, Chris. Hello, Chris. Crack me up and smack my lips. Hello, Crunch. Hello, Cool. Let it snap. Brand new rules.
Nothing sounds better than a taco from Taco Bell.
Hello, hello, Taco Bell. Racing on the water, just you and me. Running wild, running free. Run, 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 Kawasaki.
Jet Ski Watercraft by Kawasaki. The ultimate water pistol.
Fly across the water on a jumping jet. Kawasaki gets the good times wet. Fun, 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 Kawasaki.
See your local Kawasaki dealer today.
What are the untold stories about America's newest hero, Oliver North? Inquiring minds want to know.
I want to know.
What are the surprising reasons Ollie's so incredibly popular? This week's National Enquirer tells you. What are 5 ways to use your time better? How can any woman look 10 years younger?
It's in the Enquirer.
What's the real reason Stallone's divorcing his wife? Find out in the Enquirer. Over 100 features for people with inquiring minds.
Like me.
Attention car buyers. Don't buy anything until you see this. Now, buy any Mazda 626 in stock and choose $900 in options free from Mazda or get $900 cash back. Buy one of these 323s in stock and choose $500 in options free from Mazda or get $500 cash back. Use cash back toward your down payment or get a check from Mazda. Hurry! Get $900 on 626 or $500 on 323 today.
The official police vanguard unit is already in place on the street, waiting to usher in tonight's Torchlight Parade, which is just minutes away from its first glittering steps. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to TV 11's coverage of this summer extravaganza.
Now, it took a long time to make this parade come alive, and we're sure all of you watching at home will find that we're all in for a treat tonight.
In fact, I think the real treat is already taking place down on the street. That's where Willard Scott and Paul Douglas are hanging out. And it's a rare thing to see Paul Douglas, even more rare to see Willard Scott. What's going on down there, you guys?
Isn't he cute?
He just kissed me.
Isn't he? I kiss them all.
How embarrassing. Well, if anybody's going to kiss me.
How are you?
Willie?
Here.
Oh.
I told you, kiss them all.
He kisses everyone. Hey, we're going to try something. Channel 11, of course, being the only station in town that broadcasts in stereo. First time in recorded history, we're going to try a stereo weathercast. Ready?
Do you think we can do it?
I think we can do it, Willard.
Okay, ready?
Ready?
Set.
Mild and muggy with no rain.
Channel 11.
Kind of a dumb idea,
Details
really.
at 12. That's the worst bit we've ever done.
We have some posters here. What are these, Willard?
Well, these, of course, are our theme posters for the Aquatennial. We had the most marvelous dinner, by the way, a few hours ago, just downtown. And I met all the princesses. Boy, are they beautiful. Am I a lucky man? 44. Just wanted to mention one thing. This is a historic spot where we're broadcasting from right now because Don McReevy, in 1939, at the old St. Anthony's Commercial Club, was the birthplace of this very event. 1939. That's many years ago. So we're delighted to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
They told us to give the posters away.
That's right.
Okay, here.
Let's get rid of these.
There's one for
you, Willard.
Give me one.
Here you go.
Okay.
There you go. Enjoy the parade.
Yeah.
Tell you what, a couple of blocks from here, the activities have already begun, Willard. The pre-parade preparations are still taking place at the parade staging area.
All sorts of good things, so we're going to go over there right now to see what's happening behind the scenes. Melissa Young is there. Melissa, how hectic are things really over there?
Well, I tell you, Willard and Paul, I think you got the heat up enough over here. It's very hot, but it's not affecting the floats. And let me tell you, do they have floats? They have them all lined up. This is the Taco Bell float. They, of course, are co-sponsors. I need to talk to you. Come here a minute. Well, bend down a second now. Are you hot in that thing?
Not really. It's very nice out here.
Nice breeze, huh?
Yes, very nice.
Okay, well, we'll be looking forward to your music. As I say, lots of floats. As far as you can see, people, too. They've decided to watch the parade from here. It's a lot easier, it is. Sir, let me ask you, how hot is it over here for you?
Well, I'd say it's about 80 degrees, very hot, nice breeze.
You got a good seat, though?
Oh, yeah, I got a wonderful seat. I hope I see all the parade now. Are the Smurfs coming? We want to know if the Smurfs are coming from us.
You guys want to see the Smurfs, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll make sure they come by and see you. Again, people lined up all the way, parades and floats and bands and everything as far as the eye can see. It is just an incredible sight here. And again, it's just, I feel sorry for the guy who has to set all this stuff up because he has a headache on his hands. But the floats are back here, the bands are over there. I think they're all ready to go. Paul and Diana, we'll toss it back to you.
Well, I'll tell you, if the Smurfs don't come by, that's going to be one angry kid.
Oh, and a lot of angry kids.
Pretty definitive. Yeah, the Smurfs.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why they're there.
Absolutely. Well, the countdown to parade time is continuing, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at a royal tradition.
A tradition that means more than being just a queen for a day.
How do you get a reputation?
Steak fajitas, Taco Bell, tonight? Fabulous.
How do you get a reputation? Word of mouth. New steak fajitas. Think of it as a Mexican steak sandwich.
Your American dairy farmers don't want you to be fooled by imitation dairy products, plastic substitutes that don't come off a real farm. So look for the real seal. It's the sign of a genuine dairy food. Look for the seal and know it's real.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
Real cheese. No matter how you slice it, no other food quite stacks up.
Glorious cheese.
Lately, shopping at Best Buy has become so popular, people want to buy everything in our stores.
Where's the bakery?
Probably because of our huge selection,
Sweat socks.
our great service,
Excuse me, where are the fondue sets?
and our guaranteed lowest prices.
You got a muffler for a Buick?
But remember, at Best Buy, we just sell stereos, TVs, appliances, and cameras at very low prices.
My wife says you have cat litter.
Captain Ken's the good taste of America. something special in every bite. Old-fashioned flavor and it tastes just right.
Whenever you cook out or barbecue, remember my Captain Ken's oven baked beans. Look for them in the freezer section of your favorite grocery. When you serve Captain Ken's, you've added a touch of the very best.
Our Sky 11 crew, including pilot Max Metzmer and photographer Tom Empey, the two, by the way, who shot the tornado last July.
That's right.
Have a spectacular view of the parade route below. That's the main area that you're looking at right now. And that's a route that's really going to come alive in just a few minutes when the Torchlight Parade really revs up. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to our coverage of the Torchlight Parade.
Now, this parade has a little something of everything for everybody, including, for those of you who are keeping track, 300 trumpets, 175 trombones, 100 tubas, and 240 drums.
And we have some big brass as well. In fact, those two zany guys from that wacky world of weather, Willard Scott and Mr. Paul Douglas. Fellas, what are you doing now?
I was
Don't
combing
ask.
his hair. I was combing his hair.
Don't
Comb
ask.
my hair. Comb my hair. There you go. Thank you. It's called Beautiful Night for Parade. It is a thank you. It is a little ew, like milking a seal.
Wait a second, I can see myself. Okay, all right,
There you
now
go.
everything's all right.
At least I serve a... Go get him, Smokey. Smokey's the fire dog up
This
there.
is
He's dynamite.
organized chaos down here, but we're having a heck of a good time. Did you know
What's
a
that?
couple of years ago, Aquatennial officials actually consulted the Farmer's Almanac?
For the weather?
For the
What
weather.
do you mean? You look surprised.
It's
I
a-
use it every morning. It's never wrong.
The truth comes out, huh? They
My
wanted to pick...
granddaddy used to play in the Farmer's Almanac. I'll tell you, that is a very practical thing. Yes.
Well, they wanted to pick the driest week of the summer, and it's usually the last week of July, so that's why we're here now.
Well, it sure is dry, that's for sure, except that it's warm and wonderful in our hearts, and that's all we care about.
That's
I
right.
did the Winter Festival at St. Paul, and let me tell you, this is very nice. Much better temperatures, I got to be honest. Although I
Amen.
enjoy the ice sculpture. We got two very special people here, News 11's young folks, April Yeager and Jerry Hall, and I
That's
just
right.
met them tonight, and they're
Mhm.
lovely. I hope they like
Great
me as much as I
people.
like them.
April and Jerry appear on our News 11 Sunrise show, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. They are our For Kids' Sake anchors. Now, For Kids' Sake is a project at News 11 where we present the news from a kid's standpoint, news that is relevant to kids and their parents. April Yeager, welcome. What do you think so far? You having a good time?
Oh, it's great out here. Lots of fun, lots of people. It's kind of warm, but we're having a great time.
It's severe mild, right?
Yeah.
Think of it that way.
Yeah, that's a good way.
That's great. You're going to be here for the entire evening?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Jerry, anything you want to say? You want to wave hi to Mom and Dad at home?
Oh, sure. Hi, Mom and Dad at home. You know, having a great time waiting for the parade to start. Just getting real excited.
Have you ever done a parade before? Is this your first remote parade?
First one.
Is it first one? It's great. It is fun, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
I have more fun out in the street. That's where people say I belong. But
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather be out here than in the studio any day.
Oh, yeah?
Good luck to both of you, but don't take my job.
Despite the many differences between kids and adults, there's one thing we all agree on. Parades are great.
I'll second that.
That's right. We've learned that while each parade might be different, there's something in them for everyone who comes to watch. Wide-eyed in wonder, kids crowd the sidewalk watching as the parade passes by.
Our grand total up to what the toll board say?
Even the youngest wait expectantly for what they will see. Kids have favorite things they look for.
The band.
Candy.
My favorite is the bands too. Gymnastics.
Music.
Candy. Hi.
Girls.
What do you like about the parades? Whatever it is that attracts them, kids can't stay away. But it's not just kids that love a parade. As April Yeager tells us, moms and dads love a parade just as much as kids do.
1, 2, 3, 4.
For many adults, parades are full of nostalgia.
Oh, I like the music. I was in a high school band, so I really enjoy it. Makes me feel like a kid again.
I like everything about a parade. I like all the fire departments.
The clowns.
It's kind of fun being out with, this number of people. You see a lot of old friends walking along the sidewalk.
The sounds of a parade.
What's wrong?
The smiles of a parade.
What's too big? Oh, no!
Are among life's simple pleasures.
And it seems no matter what your age, you can always find find fun and excitement at a parade.
That is the truth. Right, Willard?
I'll drink to that. And thank you, Jerry. Thank you, April. Thank you, Paul. When you grow up, Paul, I hope you get to be like these kids.
I hope.
I think maybe the kids have found the answer to the generation gap, and that's just have some fun together. And that's what we're doing right now.
You're right.
I died. Are you there? I'm dying to see you again, Don.
Oh, well, thank you, Willard.
I'm just a schlump hanging out with you, huh?
What can I say?
I think he likes you.
Oh, I hope
think
so.
He does. Quite a bit, not just a little bit.
I hope so.
Well, not only can young and old out here share the excitement together, they're also going to get a chance to see some royalty as well.
That's right. The 1987 Aquatennial is graced with festival queens from throughout the area. And as News 11's Andrea Shane tells us, becoming a member of royalty is not all fun and games.
Central Insurance.
By day, Mary Ripplinger is a secretary at an insurance company. At night, she is Miss Albertville, one of 44 Aquatennial community queens that will be in tonight's parade. During her reign, she has been in nearly 20 parades. But imagine the responsibility of having to make 500 appearances. For the Aquatennial's highest royalty, it's a full-time job. She is Sandra Pileski, and when she was crowned Queen of the Lakes 1 year ago, she admits she was naive about what was ahead. Here she is today, 1 year later, at a coronation in Buffalo. She has represented Minnesota in Japan and Australia. She has made hundreds of public appearances, attended many ribbon-cutting ceremonies, and parades.
Sometimes you get so tired that you don't want to go to that third appearance in that same day.
The pace meant quitting college. The payoff, she says, the people she meets. Now, as the year winds down and the commitments come to an end with the crowning of the new Queen of the Lakes tomorrow, Sandra prepares herself for the final moment.
Once I give it up, I'm going to be, as far as, what do I do with my weekends and my nights? I'll be really lost.
She says she will go back to college and remember this year for her dedication to Minnesota and her personal growth. Andrea Shane, News 11. And throughout the evening, we'll give you a chance to meet each of the hometown queen candidates.
And as Andrea said, there are 44 young women from all over Minnesota vying for the title of Queen of the Lakes. And what we're going to do right now is meet a few of them.
Mary Ripplinger, Miss Albertville. Lisa Laliberty, Miss Apache Plaza. Michelle Bleeker, Miss Annandale. Elizabeth Ann Shavy, Miss Becker. Gina Lind, Miss Blaine. Tina Erickson, Miss Buffalo. Carrie Heckenleibel, Miss East Bethel. Stephanie Millard, Miss Cambridge.
We also don't want to overlook the beauty and splendor of the Torchlight Parade floats.
So when we return, the painstaking steps needed to make the floats look like they're floating. Nuts and bolts like you've never seen before.
Oh, why can't I ever take decent pictures? Where did I go wrong?
Maybe to the wrong photo finisher. Look, if they gave you bum photos, ProX will fix them. Free. Bring us your most disappointing pictures, plus their negatives, and we'll reprint a few, just to show you how much better ProX makes them look.
See, I can take decent pictures.
ProX. You won't be disappointed.
Maybe I should turn pro.
Mrs. Walter Payton on Wheaties.
When I told my husband Walter they changed his Wheaties, he acted like a bear. Don't worry, sweetness. They're still low in sugar. All they did was take out 25% of the sodium. They still give you energy you need to pick yourself up on Sunday afternoons. And me, energy to pick up after you on Sunday nights.
Wheaties, yeah, what the big boys eat.
Cute box.
Come on. Make way, champ. The men need food.
Where's the ragu pasta meals?
This canned spaghetti.
Joey, these are the guys. I can't feed them kids food. Here we go. All right.
When kids outgrow canned pasta, they're ready for ragu pasta meals. They love the hearty pasta, thick ragu sauce, and that great taste you don't get from canned.
This is great. Hey, we cook. We play ball. Who needs girls? Hey, stop.
Grow up to ragu pasta meals. Great taste you don't get from canned pasta.
Well, it's almost showtime, and the crowd can tell. Some of these people have been here for hours.
We got here at 3 o'clock today.
And they started bringing their chairs right about then.
They were sitting down at that time, showing up early to get some of the best seats in the house. And you folks watching at home obviously also have the best seats in the house to see this parade. It should be a very nice evening, so stick around because Diane and I, looking over here, I can see a lot of people lining up now. The fun is just about to begin.
Now, the work to turn those streets into a stage really began yesterday. Workers spent many hours overnight painting the streets, sprucing them up for a picture-perfect presentation.
And, of course, what a segue. Speaking of picture-perfect, let's go down to those two picture-perfect weather prognosticators, Paul Douglas and, of course,
Willard Scott.
Willie Scott.
Willie Scott.
Willie Scott, yeah.
It's Will. We're on a first-syllable basis here. Right?
Willard. Accent on the lard.
Willard.
Everybody's eating in this crowd. I've never seen so much food in my life. You know what I did before I came over here?
You ate.
I had a slider attack.
Oh.
I went by and I had 12 sliders and a large Coke, so I'm ready for action.
Wish this was smell-o-vision. I'm glad it isn't. This is my favorite warm
It may
front,
be
though.
before it's over.
You know, you are my favorite warm front. And I'm not being patronizing when I say I really do enjoy your work, Willard, and it's great. You like Minneapolis, don't you, in St. Paul?
I really do. I must say, and I say that with all my heart and soul. I said, it's America's best-kept secret. I brought my wife here on our 25th wedding anniversary. She'd never been here. She says, what are we going to go to Minneapolis for? I said, you just wait. And she's been back 3 times on her own since. She loves it. It is a great area, and I mean that. Love it. Wintertime, it gets a tad chilly. I understand we have some action, so I'm going to go to the ad-lib. You won't tell how. Now I'm reading. This is sincere from the heart. Watch it. You won't even be able to tell when I start reading the script.
It's in Latin. It's supposed to be in English.
You know, much of the work and all the activity that goes into this parade is done by volunteers, boys and girls, men and women, who work very hard to make this what it is from the Twin Cities.
That's right. News 11's Amy Powell now introduces us to some of these hard-working folks.
Good folks. Good folks.
Inside this file is information vital to this year's Aquatennial parade. And in this room are some of the people who make the parade happen.
Minneapolis Aquatennial.
Well, that would be the best time, and again, it's always about the 3rd week of July.
Our floats have kind of come together. I don't have to have any more nightmares about no floats.
Diane Cook and Ken Hafton are 2 of about 150 volunteers who donate dozens of hours to make the event a success. Ken has been volunteering for 15 years. This is Diane's first year.
So we bring the bands in between 7th and 6th, and we turn everybody else on 7th.
On a Tuesday evening, less than a month before the parade, the volunteers are handling a very important job, mapping out the parade lineup.
And then running everybody else straight.
And when they're finished shuffling and reshuffling the pieces of paper, they'll have a parade.
When you see MTC bus 733 roll down the street, you'll be looking at another project done by parade volunteers.
Today, they're painting a bus, but what they're really creating is part of the fantasy that will come to life when the parade begins. Amy Powell, News 11.
You know, Willard, they call it being aquatennialized. That's right. Once you catch the aquatennial bug, once you volunteer, you're a volunteer for life. And a lot of folks have sunk hundreds of hours into making this aquatennial the best ever. Tell you what, the crowd is getting kind of restless out here, aren't they?
It's a nervous crowd. They're all hot to trot. Let's find out if they're really ready, shall
The
we?
air is thick with anticipation. You guys ready?
You folks ready?
I think they're ready.
Everybody gets paid $100 for that. Thank you. See Channel 11 tomorrow morning.
Paul and Di, we're ready.
Does Willard know how to work a crowd, huh?
He does, and we're ready, too.
Hey, ready to hand out money to everybody. Well, along these streets tonight, you're going to see some absolutely breathtaking floats. It should be very exciting. There'll be 21 such masterpieces in tonight's parade, and to keep them sparkling bright will take a total of 100 to 200,000 watts of light.
Ooh, and there was one float made especially for this year's parade. It's the float 22 of the Queen candidates are sitting on, a twin to another float that will carry the remaining Aquatennial Queen candidates.
Now, both floats were made down in Rochester, and we sent News 11's Ken Speak and photographer Tom Impey down there to the Rochester Float Factory, where they found that patience is as much needed as a plan.
It didn't look like much 6 weeks ago, a rusty mobile home chassis or undercarriage, but those two steel I-beams had to be built into a float. First, welder Ed Tucholke had to shorten things up a bit with his trusty acetylene torch. In his hands, it looked easy. Heat up the steel till it's red hot, then hit it with a jet of oxygen, and it cut like a hot knife through butter.
Now, most folks would say this is not the pretty part of the float. But then again, it doesn't have to be pretty, but it does have to be strong. That's why Ed Tucholke there is using about 40 pounds of welding rod and 40 hours of his time to make it strong.
It was hot work, 90 degrees outside, thousands of degrees in that flame, caused the guy to sweat some. It was the same when Ed Tucholke started welding extra steel into the frame, angle iron to strengthen it and gussets to widen it. It was hot work, but work Ed Tucholke took pains with just the same.
I wouldn't like to do it at all if I can't take pride in it and be satisfied myself.
That was the attitude each of the float folks took. John Dreyer was working on what he calls the float's bustle. He'd been involved in building sets for the Rochester Civic Theater, so the work is a flaky, impractical, artsy dreamland.
It's just plain fun. I like to create things that create an image.
Yep, just plain fun to put the deck on, to attach the bustle, and then off to the show, to Minneapolis, to a fitting, really. Yep, what had been seen only as the float was almost assuming a personality, and it needed not a covering, more a dress. There. She looked all dressed up and ready to go.
That's it. Isn't she pretty?
Yep, she sure looks pretty. Ken Speak, News 11.
So the floats are ready, the bands are ready, and we're ready.
Absolutely, and that float should come rolling by here pretty soon. When we come right back, we'll have all the action from start to finish of the 1987 Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. Don't go away.
No other cows have our style or grace. We're the breed that gives camps its great taste. The secret of camps, it's the cows.
We hate to start a battle, but those other cows are cattle.
The secret of camps, it's the cows.
Kemp's ice cream? It's the cows.
Moo.
The Prestige Lincoln Mercury factory plant sale is over. We sold a record number of new cars and took in a record number of used. Now, one great sale has forced us to have another. Through Monday, we're slashing prices on every used car in our inventory. For example, this 85 Escort was $44.95. Now it's Prestige priced at $34.95 with zero down. Or this 85 Topaz, normally $51.95, is just $39.95 and no money down. Hurry, this sale ends Monday. Prestige Lincoln Mercury Mercure, Highway 12, 1 mile west of 100.
And now, KARE TV presents the 48th Annual Aquatennial Torchlight Parade.
Should be a fun night, huh?
It's going to be great.
Welcome, everyone, to TV 11's official coverage of the 1987 Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. I'm Paul Major.
And I'm Diana Pierce. Now, if you've just joined us, you'll quickly catch up on all the excitement that's been building throughout the evening because the parade's going to start in just a few moments. Now, tonight, the legend sails, and here to cast off for the 48th Annual Aquatennial is the dance line from Roosevelt High School with a nautical salute to the bounding main.
And joining them will be two of your favorite characters from Disneyland, Captain Hook and Mr. Smee from Peter Pan.
Ahoy, Twin Cities, and welcome all ye mateys to the 1987 Torchlight Parade. I'm Captain Hook from Disneyland, and I'm in high spirits tonight because I'm one of the grand marshals for this grand parade. Oh, I can really feel the excitement that will soon be coming your way. So, without delay, let the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade begin!
Again, the theme for the 48th annual Minneapolis Summer Celebration is Aquatennial, the legend sails. As you know, our summer festival runs from July 18th to the 26th. It's a sensational celebration transforming Minneapolis into your port of call for summertime fun.
Official sponsors for tonight's Aquatennial Torchlight Parade are KARE, TV11, and Taco Bell. Now, we've worked closely with the Aquatennial organization to bring about plenty of exciting changes in tonight's parade, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Leading with the Stars and Stripes for tonight's parade, the color guard form the Princeton High School Marching Tigers. Princeton, Minnesota band members will also be carrying all of the Torchlight 11 band competition banners throughout the parade this evening, and we do appreciate their special efforts. Very good-looking group in those uniforms, would you say?
Very sharp. Coming up now, one of the best things about a parade, marching musicians and music in the street. Our first musical group of the evening is sponsored by the Elks Lodges of Minnesota. The Elks have over 20,000 members in the state who are dedicated to helping kids' most precious natural resource.
Take a look at those flags and get a feel for just how windy it is down here. It's pretty darn gusty
very
tonight.
breezy.
Although the wind hasn't cooled anything down, let me assure you, it is still very, very muggy out here tonight. So if you're sitting at home in some air conditioning watching this on TV, you're in a very, very nice position.
That's a front row seat.
Mm-hmm. Some of the people on hand there you can see. Again, we're right down off the Central Avenue Bridge in the main staging area where all of this activity is taking place. The group you're looking at right now that is about to come up is the Minnesota Brass Senior Drum and Bugle Corps. They're the top senior drum and bugle corps in the Midwest, and the Minnesota Brass under the direction of Matt Moreno. They'll be coming up in just a minute as Captain Hook heads on out of the way.
Here comes the banner for the Minnesota Brass.
Right there.
One of the parade goers obviously looking forward to some of the bands we'll be hearing tonight.
Obviously impressing her with that banner. Here they are right
Wants
now.
the Smurfs to show up soon.
Once again, the Minnesota Brass is under the direction of Matt Moreno. And the group has been displaying their exciting sound and style since 1946, so they've been around for quite a long while. This year's membership consists of 42 horns, 26 percussionists, and 28 color guard members. They play everything from Broadway musical selections to Las Vegas glitter to jazz right off the streets of New Orleans. Now, from June through September, the members of the Corps, they take their show on the road to participate in regional and national competitions in the United States and Canada, so they really do travel all over North America. You can see right there that it's quite a large group. Last year, the Corps placed 9th in the Drum Corps Associate Senior Corps World Championship, so they finished 9th in the world.
It looks like once this group gets started, though, they take up almost a full city block. Of course, that's part of the color guard.
Very good-looking group. Looking like a band, though, to get things going, huh?
That's the best way to start a parade.
If you're sitting at home right now, just sit back and relax for a minute. Let's listen to this as we get this thing rolling.
crowd's obviously loving it, and it's got to be a real thrill for these people in the band to see their hours of practice pay off on a night like tonight. They're down here playing in front of thousands of people. You can't quite see all of the people that are down here, but there are bleachers on one whole side of the street. On the other side, a crowd. You can see part of the bleachers right there. On the other side, a crowd that must be 50 and 60 people deep.
Aquatennial, a premier event. Lee Johnson is the president of the Aquatennial, and in his spare time he serves as president and CEO of Canteen Corporation of Minnesota. Riding with Lee tonight is his wife, Karen Johnson, and together they proudly represent the Aquatennial, the city of Minneapolis, and the state of Minnesota at civic celebrations and other public events all across the state and the country. He's a dedicated individual who's been actively involved with the Aquatennial. And right here, the next convertible is the Aquatennial's Goodwill Ambassador, Commodore George Murnane. George has been an Aquatennial volunteer since 1963, and so he brings 24 years of experience to his position. As Commodore, he and his wife, Fran, accompanied Queen of the Lake, Sandra Pileski, and her princesses in public appearances across the nation and around the world. And this year, that included a trip to Australia. So no doubt they had a good time doing that. A lot of traveling. And now another key figure that's coming into view in the coordination and planning of the 1987 Aquatennial, General Festival Chairman Mike Geiser. Geiser is the operations manager for the Nash Binge Company in Minneapolis and has been active in the Aquatennial organization since 1978. His wife, Cynthia Geiser, is also very involved, most recently as acting vice president, managing director in 1986. And now, in honor of Snow White's 50th anniversary, your Twin Cities cable TV companies and the Disney Channel present Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs direct from Disneyland. So let's go down to two of the bigger dwarfs down there on the street right now. Paul Douglas and Willard Scott. Fellas, describe this float for us, could you?
First of all, 1934 was my year. That's the year I was born. Hello. That was the year I was born, and 1934 was the year that the production of Snow White, I understand, got underway, and took them until 1937 to finish it. And there's the beautiful princess down there. You'll see her in just a few minutes. She's wending her way towards us right now.
I guess there's only one dwarf on board.
Who was? It's Dopey's on, but I thought Dopey's in the control room. Dopey's doing our show. What are you talking about? I have to read this, because can you name them all without looking?
Heck no.
Sneezy, Sleazy, Sneepy, Dixon, Dasher, Prancer, Donard, Doc, Grumpy, Sleazy, Sneezy, Sleepy, Bashful, and Happy. What were the original names?
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
It says right here.
Page
Flick,
2.
Flick, Blick, Snick, Flick, Wick, and Queen.
Now, that was a joke. You made that up. That's not true, is it?
Look at that. Flick, Lick, Blick, Snick, Flick, Wick, and Queen. I've been practicing that for a week.
According to the statistics that we have, that actually, or the research, that was the original. They were the original names for the Seven Dwarfs, and this was based on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. And who else but the experts' word can we take for it?
That's right.
But I like Sleepy, Sneezy, Dopey, Doc.
Willard, no.
Thank you. Excuse me. What's that?
You know, Snow White was the first full-length animated feature film. It's true. You're amazed.
No, I remember the day. I tell you, I was about 7 years old when I saw it, and I'll never forget it.
You were only about this tall, right?
I weighed 400 pounds then. I've lost weight since then. But it's come back, and it's amazing how it has captured every single generation's imagination since it first came out.
Right.
That's a sign of greatness.
One of the most popular motion pictures ever made, of course. It was completed back in '37. Production began in '34. 750 Disney artists worked on the film for 3 years to get that done.
And if you can find a cell from any one of those, prints that they had, Let me tell you, you've got yourself something pretty valuable.
You can retire right now.
I've got Baloo the bear, and I've got one Goofy, but I don't have a Snow White. I would love to have a Snow White hanging in my little office at home.
Look at that. She looks good for 50, doesn't she?
50 years old. She's not bad.
She's just getting
beautiful.
started.
And who's up there with her, did you say?
That's Dopey.
Oh, Dopey.
I can identify with Dopey.
I always could, too. Can you see? I'm sure they got an aerial shot. That's her Magic Kingdom. Of course, our beloved Snow White comes from Disneyland, as all of our characters and all of the parade Disney characters here are represented from Disneyland in California. So
thanks to the Disney Channel
my
for
prince
that.
will come. Hello, Dopey. I love you. My kind of guy. I think he's my agent. He's with William Morris, that guy.
Is that right?
Yes. That's terrific. And they've got a thatched cottage like Ireland, a thatched cottage. I didn't know Snow White was Irish. How sweet it is to know that the good people still care enough to send them an event.
That's right. I can't do an Irish accent. I won't even try, Willard.
I love a parade, but
Paul
the best
and
part
I-
of the parade is the band. You got to see the people
Yes.
walking off the parking lot.
Thank
over
you.
here.
And now a band that's been marching in the Aquatennial Parade every year since it began in 1940. The Minneapolis Police Band under the direction of Captain Robert W. Falk. There are 55 members in this musical organization. Their ages range from 18 to 72. And the oldest member began marching in 1919. But he's not marching with the group this summer. But we're sure he's watching tonight, so we'd like to say a special hello to 92-year-old J. Emmett Hannon. Now, we'd also like to mention John Richards, a drum major. Very happy birthday. He turned 65 today, and there he is.
Let's listen in.
John Richards strutting his stuff. Boy, you can tell he's having a great time.
This may be the only man to quiet down Willard Scott and Paul Douglas.
That's right.
And there you have the mayor of Minneapolis, Donald Fraser, the honorable mayor of Minneapolis. He first took office in January of 1980. He appreciates and enjoys great festivals like the Aquatennial because they contribute so much to the vitality and health of the central city. And I'm afraid he's going to have to suffer the embarrassment of that band ahead of him getting all the applause.
He is. It's just horrible. But I think as a politician, he understands that.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good tonight, isn't he?
He's looking great.
At least he'll get some good music throughout the route of the parade.
That's half the fun of riding in the parade, is listening to the bands in front of you.
I think the bands are the best part.
Now from Entertainment Tonight, John Tesh and Mary Hart, who are sharing Grand Marshal honors with Captain Hook. Let's go to Paul Douglas, who's going to talk, hopefully, with John and Mary. Well, we'll go to him shortly. In the meantime, there's another shot of John Tesh and Mary Hart. Mary Hart is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. She's a native. She got her degree in English from Augustana College in Sioux Falls.
The interesting thing is, she just had her legs insured by Lloyd's of London for $2 million. That's the absolute truth. She had her legs insured.
And you can barely see some of her legs. We can see her knees tonight. John Tesh,
right there. John
by the
Tesh,
way,
of course, he used to be with
joined.
CBS Sports.
That's right. He was for 5 years he worked for CBS Sports, and he joined ET just this past year. And coming up Monday, August 10th, Entertainment Tonight is going to be seen at 6:30 on KARE TV 11.
And right now they're making their way towards Paul Douglas, who's going to try and hijack their automobile so that he can talk to John and Mary. Paul, are you down there right now? Can you hear us?
Paul, can you hear me?
Sure, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, Paul, did you know that Mary Hart is a native of Sioux Falls, South Dakota?
Absolutely.
Just up the road?
Absolutely.
We're going to see if we can get a word in.
Do.
Mary and John, welcome to Minneapolis. We're looking forward to having your show on Channel 11. You start, what, August 10th, I think, in the Twin Cities on 11.
Through Wednesday, looking for you guys.
That's great. Now, you've been in town working on some special features. Can you give us a hint what we can see on ET shortly?
Well, actually, later on tonight, if you go home and watch it on the other channel, very late, we have a feature on Minneapolis music, the Minneapolis sound. Now, we know it's Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And then tomorrow, we'll have another piece.
Yeah, tomorrow's a piece on the parade itself and how the organizers here are trying to turn it into a national event, and we hope that happens too.
Well, that's great. Welcome to Minneapolis. We're proud to have you here, and we're proud to be getting you on Channel 11 here coming up in a few days.
I tell you, it's like a homecoming for me. Being a South Dakota girl, it's great to be here.
Great. Thank you again. So long. Paul and Di.
All right, thank you very much. Now, we want to mention tonight that 11 of the finest marching bands in Minnesota and the Midwest will be competing this evening in the first ever Torchlight 11 band competition. It's sponsored by KARE TV, and the winning band will take home $1,100 from Channel 11. This is our first band, of course, right here. The Jefferson High School Marching Band.
From Alexandria, Minnesota, the Jefferson High School Marching Band under the direction of John Anderson. This group was a big winner last Saturday's Grand Day Parade competition. They came away with the first place award in the AAA class. Now this is, as you can see by this picture, one of the largest marching bands in the state. Over 200 kids. That's musicians, street commanders, flag bearers, a rifle squad, banner, and color guards make up this colorful display. Let's listen.
NBC's Give Me a Break, you're looking at Matthew and Joey Lawrence. Matthew, the blonde, is 6 years old. Joey is 10, and together they've got quite a number of noteworthy credits to their name, including appearances on Dynasty, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, Different Strokes, Silver Spoons, and the film Summer Rentals with John Candy and Carl Reiner. Now, Joey was recently honored as a spokesperson for the National Seatbelt Campaign, and Matthew, he really wants to have a good time. Well, he likes to play with bugs, lizards, and his pet snake. Real nice of them to show up at the Aquatennial tonight, one of NBC's more popular programs. Matthew and Joey Lawrence of NBC's Give Me a Break. And now, sponsored by the IDS Financial Services, is the Minnesota State Choir Float. Let's check it out a little closer with the help of two of the best falsettos in the state, Willard Scott and Paul Douglas.
I think you're sorely mistaken, Paul. I can hum silently. That's about all I'm qualified to do here. Willard?
Yes, I'm so captured by. I'm still looking for those $1 million legs. When Mary came by, I think I saw $500 worth.
Tell you what, this is an amazing float. Gospel music really did take the cities by a storm this spring with a performance of gospel at Colonus at the Guthrie. Now, these folks sang as part of that show. Also, they performed as part of the Gospel Choirs United at the Ordway.
And I tell you, I love Jack Edwards over at the Guthrie. He's one of my favorite people. He's the costume designer, and I don't think there's anybody in America, probably in the whole world, that does a better job. And when it comes to music, I'm always two kinds. I love country and western, and I love gospel music. And the Minnesota State Choir is dynamite.
They can sing.
Bravo, bravo.
15 choir members. They're accompanied on the electrical piano. Members from 6 local churches.
All look like angels. Every one of them like an angel, and sing like an angel.
Paul and I.
Thank you very much.
Well, this beautiful riverboat float is the capable hands of the Minneapolis Aquatennial Junior Commodore Jeremy Shadd and Junior Queen Jessica Berry. They're assisted by Junior Vice Commodores Brandon Nelson and Brad Nixon, and by Junior Princesses Sarah Morris and Michelle Duran. Their passengers are the candidates for the new Aquatennial Junior Royal Party to be selected at the coronation on Saturday. These boys and girls represent various cities and groups in and around Minneapolis. This is the Minneapolis Aquatennial Junior Royalty Float this evening.
A very cute float.
It's an exciting evening for all these kids. They're all spruced up. They look great and very royal.
And now, marching in high style just behind the high-stepping drum major Chris Helgestad are the Anoka High School Marching Tornadoes under the direction of John Lace. The Tornadoes are just back, by the way, from an exciting first-place victory in Class A at the Cherry Royal Festival in Traverse City, Michigan. Now, they were also the grand champions in last year's State Fair band contest, and tonight they're entered in the Torchlight 11 competition, and once again going for the big bucks in that fight.
And by the way, as we see him in the background there, Chris Helgestad took the Best Drum Major Award in the Grand Day Parade, so they've got a lot to be proud about tonight.
Now, this is the last performance of the summer for the Marching Tornadoes, and hopefully they're going to go out with gusto. Tonight they're playing Durango by John Hakens. They're also wearing their traditional maroon coat and pants with gold plume, and of course their very beautiful hats. By the way, in 1977, they got a special treat. They got to play at the presidential inauguration.
Washington, D.C., that's a long way to travel.
Let's listen and find out why they were invited.
Next up, a Winter Carnival tradition, the St. Paul Athletic Club bouncing team. Now, this group was founded in 1887 and is still going strong today. Now, 18 to 22 people make up the crew. 3 women, Chris Grover, Chrissy Savard, and Kathy Winnicky Bell, take turns being tossed 25 to 35 feet in the air throughout the parade. And this is just one of the young women who are about to be tossed before our very eyes.
Oh, I'd like to see them get Willard on that thing, Paul. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, stop him, Willard. Get out there real quick. They're running past Willard.
Come on back.
I've never seen anybody run faster.
Cowards die 1,000 times, heroes die but once.
Willard is here with a special guest. Willard?
That's quite an act. Do you think they could throw me around like that, Barbara?
I don't know, Willard, if they could or not.
There'd be 12 hernias in that crowd, I guarantee you, if they caught me or a hole in the street. You know, we talked about volunteerism earlier on in the program, and this great parade is sponsored in part by one of the great organizations in America, Taco Bell. Barbara Schneider is the area manager. We're delighted you could be with us.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight in Minneapolis for such a great parade.
Were you ever in a parade?
Never.
Were you in a band? Did you dance?
Never.
This is it?
This is it,
Well, we appreciate the fact you could come by and be with us.
And we have some goodies for you from Taco Bell.
Terrific.
And we'd like to thank you, all of our customers, and all of our fine managers and crew people for helping us here tonight. And we hope that everyone in Minneapolis has a great and wonderful time tonight at the parade.
How about a big special maybe on some beef enchiladas?
Willard, for you, anything at any restaurant.
Oh, I'm in love again. Now back to Paul and Di, back up and...
All righty. Well, right now, Willard, we're looking at a very special float. This is the Taco Bell Fiesta float. And tonight, it's taken a very special honor. It has won the Queen Award as the most beautiful float in the Torchlight Parade. And it's also one of the largest in tonight's parade. It features colorful giant pinwheels, horns, and lots of glitter. And there's also an 11-member mariachi band called Los Banditos from Prior Lake, Minnesota. Obviously wearing beautiful sombreros and serapes. The band members are wearing authentic Mexican costumes. There's a beautiful picture of it right there.
And there's Lord Loon out in the front.
On board right down there in your center of your screen almost with his serape on.
That's right. He's dressed up with his sombrero on the top.
Yeah, this unit, by the way, is 55 feet long, 14 feet wide, and 13 feet high. Very good looking float.
Our first float award winner. Next we have a Torchlight 11 band competition entry, the Hibbing Marching Blue Jackets under the direction of Art Hill. These 120 marching musicians have won a number of awards, and in 1985 had the pleasure of performing in Honolulu, Hawaii at the Aloha Bowl, where they came away with the President's Trophy for the band that best represented the spirit of aloha. And we say aloha to them in the best spirit of the Aquatennial as we take just a little moment to listen to them. Again, that's a presentation of the color guard. And there they are, the 120 musicians marching strong. Sounds like a little Tijuana brass they're doing. There they are in their blue trousers, white blouse, and red sash. The Hibbing Marching Blue Jackets. A couple of years ago, these kids sold 30,000 pounds of seafood to raise funds for their summer tour. Can you imagine? That is 15 tons of fish.
Very big night. They're once again competing for that more than $5,000 prize.
And they've got a great sound tonight.
Very good-looking unit.
The Hibbing Marching Blue Jackets.
And now from La Crescent, Minnesota, their award-winning Apple Fantasy Float. Built entirely by Apple Fest board members, the large red apple revolving within the crescent symbolizes La Crescent, the apple capital of Minnesota. Apple Fest princesses Lori Schultz and Karen Schlangen invite you to visit their fair city, especially during Apple Festival time, which is the 3rd week of September. Those apples on that float look good enough to taste, don't they?
They sure do.
It's a very pretty float. 26 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 12 feet high. And here's a test for you, Diana. Try and say apple capital 3 times fast.
Not even a chance.
How about the toy boat? Can I get you to do that, perhaps?
No, but it's a beautiful float.
Once again, the La Crescent Apple Festival float.
And there they go. We're going to take a break now, but before we do, we'd like to introduce you to 4 of the candidates for Queen of the Lakes. And before the evening is over, you'll have a chance to see them all, so stay tuned.
People are learning about our reputation. Now that our reputation is at stake, Taco Bell. If you don't come in, you're missing out on something fabulous. New steak fajitas. Think of it as a Mexican steak sandwich.
When Slumberland puts together a bedding package, chances are no one's going to beat it. Right now, we'll give you an outstanding price on a quality Serta extra firm mattress and box spring. Just $178 for the twin set, $238 for the full set, $288 for the queen set, $368 for the king set, and that's not all. You'll also get a solid metal bed frame, pillows, and a complete set of linens when you buy the Serta mattress and box spring on sale at Slumberland. Can you beat that? I doubt it.
Racing on the water, just you and me. Running wild, running free. Run, 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 Kawasaki.
Jet Ski Watercraft by Kawasaki. The ultimate water pistol.
Fly across the water on a jumping jet. Kawasaki gets the good times wet. Fun, 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 Kawasaki.
See your local Kawasaki dealer today.
Captain Ken's the good taste of America. There's something special in every bite. Old-fashioned flavor and it tastes just right.
Whenever you cook out or barbecue, remember my Captain Ken's oven baked beans. Look for them in the freezer section of your favorite grocery. When you serve Captain Ken's, you've added a touch of the very best.
Welcome back, everybody, to our continuing coverage of the 1987 Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. Beautiful picture there of River Place. Right now, we're back with the Champlin Elephant Brigade. Local business people are helping to sponsor Champlin's first ever entry in the Torchlight Parade. And some of the city council members, get this, are driving the individually powered elephants. Hopefully there's not a Democrat inside one of those elephants.
Well, I don't know, but whatever, let's just make sure that they're safe and will navigate themselves down the parade.
There's a DFLer in there. They're just going to have to grin and bear it tonight. Let's go down to Willard and Paul for a closer look at these things. Are they anywhere near you yet?
They're coming up, and it says right here, Willard, I have it right here, it says Willard Nuzzle Elephant.
Well, you know, this is the first thing in the
There you
parade
go.
that's made me look small. Do I actually get to go down? How much rope have I got?
I think we're at our end here.
I'm going to sort of have to wait till these elephants get up here. But one time, I understand you did the same thing. They brought the circus to town.
That's right.
And we did a weather show. We used the side of the elephant as a weather map.
It was a low point in my career.
That was the high point outside of working with you. That was the high point in my career. It's the only forecast that I ever did that came close to being right. But these elephants, I believe, were originally designed for the Tournament of Roses parade in Pasadena. and they're in little Kawasaki motorbikes.
That's right.
Maybe you can get a shot of them, but they really are cute and they're animated.
They're 11.5 feet high. They're 8 feet long. Electrically animated animals.
I don't know if I could do much with. Hello there, Dumbo.
Should mention, too, the sponsor city, Champlin, one of the fastest growing towns in Hennepin County, did a real nice job with this.
They are terrific, and of course,
They really are.
They're a bit of a band here. They're playing their oompah-pah trumpets. I guess maybe just a little bit of a sousaphone tone.
Willard, you can nuzzle now.
Can I nuzzle? How do I get up to one to nuzzle it?
Just go. Go for it.
I gave one a cake one day for.
Be spontaneous.
Here's one over here. I don't know if I could come up and nuzzle him. Hello there, dear.
What's the worst thing that can happen, Willard?
What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Be careful.
Would you like to go to dinner? I mean, you and I could at least go out. I'll buy you a whole bag of sliders just for you, honey. You and I together. Some sliders and a Coke. Okay,
okay, Willard. All right.
Some days you win, some days you lose. Anybody want to go to get a White Castle bag with me? I think I got some takers over here.
Paul and Di, back to you.
Back to you.
Thanks. From Hudson, Wisconsin, here's the 100-member Hudson Senior High School Band. Now, this proud group of musicians has been playing all across Wisconsin and Minnesota this summer and plans a trip to sunny Orlando, Florida. That's October, to play at Disney World, SeaWorld, Epcot Center, and Busch Gardens. Their red, white, and blue Corps-style uniforms were designed by their director, Chris Chernahoy, and are a symbol of the band's preference for patriotic music for marching. So appropriately, they're playing, momentarily, the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Let's listen. By the way, this band is also a Torchlight 11 band competitor, so they will be competing tonight for that $5,111.
That, of course, won't be announced until after the parade is over when all the bands.
Who wins? That's correct. There are 11 bands competing for that honor tonight. There are 16 members in the flag squad, 4 rifle squad, and 1 drum major, majorette. Now we're listening to them playing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Doesn't it just send chills down your spine? It does me every time I hear a great band play.
Very nice job. You know, I'm not sure if... I'll tell you what always sends chills down my spine, bagpipes, and I'm not sure if it's because of the music or the sound. Well, right here, right now, a warm welcome to the Aquatennial Senior Royalty, just crowned last night. Riding on the porch are Queen Lorraine Dysart and Commodore Charles Sariot. By the bay windows are Ambassadors Orville Prestholt and Rinza Anderson. And the theme of this is Home is Where the Heart is. And they're riding on the float sponsored by the Walker Methodist Residence and Health Services. And it appears to be quite a charming and comfortable setting for those folks as well, doesn't that?
It looks like they're very comfortable.
Yeah, and there are always, by the way, a lot of activities for the senior royalty in the Aquatennial. They're always up to a lot of
We
things.
see them everywhere, it
yeah,
seems
a lot
like.
of appearances. So they actually keep quite busy during the course of the year.
There she is, Queen Lorraine Dysart.
It is no easy job, is it?
It's tough. Now let's
Well,
go
right now-
down to the always charming Willard Scott and Paul Douglas. I think they've got something going on down there.
You rascals, you rascals. You got the best seat in town as far as comfort, but we got the best seat in town as far as show. We see it all. You like antiques, don't you?
I sure do.
I gave you that one. That's you get a mile wide to jump in, right?
I'm not going to say a thing.
If you like antiques, you're going to love this next act.
That's right.
It's a 1901 antique bus. One of my idols, John Philip Sousa, a good United States Marine. Still the President's Own. That's the band they use at the White House. And here they are.
That's right.
The John Philip Sousa Oompah-Pah Band in the background. You see it all happening.
Riding with his furry friend Chocolate Moose and the infamous Valley Fair Beach Band. All certifiably tone deaf. My goodness. And they invite you to join them on their 65-acre amusement park Plenty of summer left to go here.
One of my favorite towns, Shakopee.
Shakopee, Minnesota.
I've got reservations there right after this show to go rest. That's the one place in this state you can relax and enjoy life.
That's right. Call, Di.
Thanks, guys. We're riding in his 21st consecutive Aquatennial parade is Hennepin County Sheriff Don Omot. Don was recently elected to an unprecedented 6th term as Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the county. He has a 450-member department and is immediate past president of the National Sheriff's Association. Sheriff Don Omot.
Yeah, hopefully you'll just see him here in the parade, never walking up to your car window.
I hope so.
After you've been going 70 miles
I'd
an hour.
much rather see him here in the parade.
He's looking good tonight. Well, dressed in brand new Blue Devil-style uniforms, here is the Hutchinson Bingo Lancers High School Marching Band, directed by David Hadukovich. This group has won a number of awards and many superior ratings in solo and ensemble contests. Now, they've traveled to St. Louis in 1985 to participate in the Six Flags Over Mid-America Festival, and they're planning another major trip for this season, so they're quite busy. The director and band members asked us to say thanks to school officials. They asked us to say thanks to their parents, and of course all the people in their hometown for the support they received throughout the year. This band, by the way, is another Torchlight 11 competitor. Tonight they'll be playing Veracruz. Really a good-looking group. Hutchinson, of course, is a home of some great high school football teams. They have a lot of good athletic programs out there at that
You
high school.
betcha.
Yeah, do a very good job.
Here they are moving right along.
It's going to be an exciting night for them, debuting their new unis.
Yeah, they look sharp, too.
Absolutely. Got to participate in that Six Flags Over Mid-America in St. Louis. They're probably hoping they're going to get to go somewhere big with these new uniforms, huh? It's a big group, by the way. You can see them coming into the lighted area now. Let's catch some of their sounds as they crank things up for us.
Kicking members right there.
They're lucky they get to follow some nice music tonight.
And they've got Santa Bear with them. In fact, they've got Santa Bear on the back of both sides. I guess Santa Bear really is anchoring that rainbow effect of balloons. There's Santa Bear.
Santa Bear's got to be quite warm tonight.
I would think so.
By the time the parade's over, Santa Bear will be about 4 pounds. Well, right now we're going to go away, and we'll be back shortly. But before we go, we want to introduce you to 4 more Aquatennial tunes.
Nothing's cooler than a salad from Taco Bell.
Goodbye, burnout. Hello, hello, Taco Bell. Billy, I see us in the backyard playing. just you and I. You were king and I was queen in our treehouse in the sky. And now that all our younger years drift into yesterday, I want you to remember.
Hello? Hi, Billy. Guess who? Hey, sis. How are you?
Won't drift away.
Lately, shopping at Best Buy has become so popular, people want to buy everything at our stores.
Where's the bakery?
Probably because of our huge selection,
Sweat socks.
our great service,
Excuse me, where are the fondue sets?
and our guaranteed lowest prices.
You got a muffler for a Buick?
But remember, at Best Buy, we just sell stereos, TVs, appliances, and cameras at very low prices.
My wife says you have cat litter.
Weekends are special on KS95 FM radio. Good music, good humor, static-free weather, and double cash call. Listen for details.
Welcome back, everybody, as you take a look at the Minneapolis skyline at night. A very beautiful scene. Our continuing coverage of the 1987 Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. Who's
And
this?
that's a
Diane?
beautiful shot right there, Christina Pickles. She plays Nurse Helen Rosenthal on NBC St. Elsewhere, and it's been proclaimed as one of the best dramatic series ever written. She moved to the United States 25 years ago from England, where she trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. Soap opera fans may remember her as a regular on Another World and Guiding Light in the 70s. Now, I bet you'd like to have just a few minutes with her to find out how they're going to resolve the last episode of St. Elsewhere. St. Eligius was falling into the wrecking ball, and the entire staff was arrested for protesting its destruction. And it was a real cliffhanger. So
Now, that
we
was
should...
a very good program.
Mm.
And now the Minnesota Marching Ambassadors from Long Prairie, another Torchlight 11 competitor, the Long Prairie High School Band. The director is Raymond Gold. Now, this 120-member group has been cited for its high degree of musical and marching excellence and its consistently high standings in state and national competitions. For instance, a couple first place at Class A Grande Parade held just last Saturday. Now, they're just back from an 11-day trip to Chicago and the Cherry Festival in Traverse City, Michigan, where they were grand champions. So this is apparently quite a good band, judging by all the awards it's won.
Now, they are wearing what is considered a toy soldier style of uniform. And by the way, they'll also be playing at the Queen's Coronation Thursday night at the International Market Square, and you and I will be there.
We'll be there emceeing.
Now, that color guard won Best Color Guard in the Grand Day Parade, and we can just see why.
These bands have a lot on the line tonight, not only personal pride, but the competition, the 11th Torchlight competition, and knowing that their parents are probably home watching them on TV
right.
or along the parade route.
Definitely a crowd pleaser. Well, let's go down to Willard and Paul, because something's making a big splash down on the street.
That's right. I'll tell you what, this is amazing. You can hear a wave of oohs and ahs coming down the street. Here comes the Channel 11 KARE float, Willard, and it's absolutely unbelievable. Take a look at this. I knew we were building a spectacular float for the parade. I'd seen the blueprints, but I didn't think it would be anything quite this amazing. Look at that.
We got the skylines, remember I'm saying skylines, of my two favorite cities, St. Paul, the capital of the great state of Minnesota, And Miss Lola Purvis, if you're over there with that fantastic recipe book, I still have my rice at home, and I'm telling you, it is the best cookbook I've ever used. And, of course, you see the capital of the great state represented, plus the magnificent modern metropolis known as Minneapolis. I say America's best-kept secret.
Yep, there's the IDS and the World Trade Centers, the Metrodome, the Fauché Tower, State Capitol. Of course, there's Sky 11 with Max Mesmer hovering overhead. Some of our good friends, Jeff Passold, Amy Powell, Dennis Felkin, Tom Ryther, and Kirsten Lindquist on board.
And they've got a score, too. Look at that. Twins. What does it say at the...
Twins 3, Yankees 1.
Hey, fantastic.
Paul and Di.
Is that a final? Eighth inning, Twins 3, Yankees 1. The Yankees should have stayed home.
Paul, this is an award-winning float that you were looking at there.
It is?
You
bet.
It
is, of course
For
it is.
excellence in theme, the Legend Sails. Channel 11 won
the Admiral Award.
The Admiral Award.
That is nice.
What a
good
show.
For,
It's
good
terrific.
for Channel 11.
That is an amazing float. That is great.
Yeah.
Now, Junior Achievement of the Twin Cities is sponsoring the next unit in the parade.
They're the Smiling Faces 4-H Unicycle Club. You can see them right there. Now, the small unicycles I don't mind. Those big ones back there make me nervous.
I don't know how they do it.
Well,
and they're going a long way tonight.
You ride your unicycle to work every day, I see.
Oh, every day.
Well, not during
bet.
the winter. I take that back. During the winter, you're on your tandem bike.
Yeah, this is a often seen sight in the backyard with
Well, this group is from Findlay, Ohio. The organization has been in existence for 11 years. They have 30 members ranging in age from 5, now get this, to 55. So there are some 55-year-old folks out there on those unicycles who must be in pretty darn good shape. They performed at the 1982 and 84 World Fairs, the Orange Bowl Parade, the Salute to America Parade in Atlanta, and the July 4th Parade in Washington, D.C.
More TV 11 Torchlight Parade coverage in just a minute, but first, 4 more Queen of the Lakes candidates.
Reputation is traveling fast. Now that our reputation is at stake, if you don't come in, you're missing out on something fabulous. New steak fajitas. Think of it as a Mexican steak sandwich.
Hello, Taco Bell.
Ugh. Why can't I ever take decent pictures? Where did I go wrong?
Maybe to the wrong photo finisher. Look, if they gave you bum photos, ProX will fix them. Free. Bring us your most disappointing pictures, plus their negatives, and we'll reprint a few, just to show you how much better ProX makes them look.
See, I can take decent pictures.
ProX. You won't be disappointed.
Maybe I should turn pro.
No other cows have our style or grace. We're the breed that gives camps its great taste. The secret of camps, it's the cows.
We hate to start a battle, but those other cows are cattle.
The secret of camps, it's the cows.
Kemp's ice cream, it's the cows.
Moo.
Charges being dropped in a local bombing case. The story at 10.
Now, back to the 48th Annual Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. Brought to you by your neighborhood Taco Bell restaurant.
Well, it's already been quite an exciting evening.
It really has. It's been a lot of fun.
A lot of Disney characters, Captain Hook, of course. Snow White has already gone by. We have seen some outstanding marching bands, some very, very good marching
Excellent,
bands.
excellent. And of course, as you said, Captain Hook, but then our $500 of Mary's Legs, right? And John Tesh.
That's what Willard said he saw. Yeah, Mary Hart and John Tesh, our other grand marshals for the parade, along with Captain Hook. And Willard Scott was the one who said he saw $500 worth of Mary Hart's legs. And Willard Scott and Paul Douglas have been hanging out down there in the street all night.
That's right.
Really harassing the public, I think.
They
for the
have
most
been.
Part. Yeah, just
They've been
they're always
unleashed
up
on
to
the public.
hijinks. Let's go down there now and see what they're up to.
I'll tell you what, the Disney people have been very good to us, and they've really gone all out for this parade. I want to mention that our Disneyland ambassador today is Kendra Howell, all the way from L.A., from Disneyland. And I think you have an interview to do over there, don't you, Willard?
This is the highlight of my life. I got to be honest with you. My favorite character in the world has always been Goofy, but Goofy is second always to the #1 character in the world. He is known everywhere in the world as Mr. Ambassador for the United States. Our hero, Mickey Mouse. Hi, Mickey. How sweet to see you, old friend.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Willard. Boy, oh boy. I'm sure glad I came from Disneyland to be here tonight. I've got a special place in my heart for the Twin Cities, you know. This parade is great, and my waving arm is still in good shape. Ha, ha. I'm really looking forward to the rest of my visit. Hey, why aren't you riding in the parade? You want to join me?
Oh, thank you, Mickey. Steamboat Willie, that's the nicest invitation I've ever had. Do you think there's enough room?
I don't think
we'll
there's
see if we can see if we can. Hey, thank you, Mick. I think right now we got to go back to Paul and dive back upstairs. But thank you, Mickey. How nice. Who's your girlfriend over there? Hey, good
That's
to see you.
Kendra Howell.
Doesn't look like Minnie to me.
And a very nice job of ventriloquism by
Back
Paul
up.
Douglas.
I think an excellent
Mickey Mouse
job.
voice, yeah.
Knock it off.
Now next up, the Monticello High School Marching Band with 150 members, marching under the direction of Doug Miller. Classical style music, shimmering costumes, and very difficult routines for the extra units make this band a sparkling addition to every parade. Tonight is no exception. You'll notice their marching formation is very unique, shoulder to shoulder, and according to instrument, not the more traditional block style. They have Spartan-type uniforms, and they're altered by hand to add the gold and trim, which is unavailable from commercial manufacturers of uniforms. That's just to add a special something extra. Now, after tonight's performance, the band heads west for their appearance at the Cheyenne, Wyoming Wild West Days Parade, and they are another Torchlight 11 competitor. Let's listen. Monticello High School Marching Band.
Those drums will get you going, won't they?
You bet.
Those drums have Alice Rainville waving, the Minneapolis City Council president. Riding in the convertible right there. Alice represents the 4th Ward. And look who's along with her.
Lieutenant
Governor Marlene Johnson. She represents the whole state.
That's
Alice
right.
only represents the 4th Ward of Minneapolis, the northwest quadrant of Minneapolis. Now, she's been on the city council since 1975. And here's the interesting thing, because both of these women are listed in the phone book, they'll have a chance tonight, if they get home in a hurry, for a special cash-in on 11 call that's going to be made during our broadcast tonight. Now, if you're in the phone book or you sent a postcard into TV 11, you could be the winner of $11,000. That's how much money Barry Zavan is going to give away to the person he calls if that person knows the clue. So I'm just wondering if Alice and Marlene do know the clue.
I don't know. I don't think Barry Zavan's given the clue yet.
That's true.
We'll have to
So
wait.
maybe their relatives will be watching, waiting by the phone.
Now, join the class of '87 is the theme for this year's Great Minnesota Get-Together, the Minnesota State Fair. Inviting everyone to join them for 12 days of fun are State Fair mascots, Fairchild and Fairborn, wearing brand new costumes on Miss Franklin Avenue. And right there is Michael Pare from the CBS series Houston Knights. Now, you want to be stopped by and see our booth, Channel 11's booth, at the fair this year to see a sneak preview of the television of the future. Dates for the State Fair are August 27th through September 7th, and we hope to see you there.
But when you come by our booth, you'll have to be very careful because of all those corn dog sticks that'll be on the ground down there.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous. Here's, look at this.
My favorites.
Smurf O'Doodle. This is exciting stuff right here. Here come those little blue people who become the darlings of NBC's Saturday morning lineup. Of course, every kid in America getting up at 5 a.m. waiting for the Smurfs to come on the TV.
That's right. I've even been known to watch the program. It's great.
Papa Smurf and Smurfette are here tonight, representing a whole cast of imaginative characters, including Brainy Smurf, Clumsy Smurf, Jokey Snappy, and Vanity Smurf. And don't forget, I shouldn't forget your favorite Smurfs.
My favorites, Hefty,
Lazy,
Handy,
and Grouchy
of course,
Smurf.
Grouchy.
That's right. Now, did you know at home, folks, I suppose your children can tell you that Papa Smurf is how old kids take time to answer, tell mom and dad. That's right. Papa Smurf is over 500 years old, so His appearance here tonight is really quite amazing. I'm amazed he's up and out of bed moving around.
Now tell me, how tall do you think full-grown Smurfs are? Now the kids know this.
I don't know.
3 apples high.
Ooh, are they tall? Are they tall?
Coming up right behind them, 95 musicians, a 15-member flag squad, 6-member rifle squad, a drum major, and 8 color guards make up our next band, the New Richmond Marching Tigers. Under the direction of Richard W. Gregerson, the band has continued a fine tradition both in the concert hall and on the street and field. Their performances throughout the state of Wisconsin and in Florida, Maryland, South Dakota, and Tennessee have given them national acclaim. So let's listen. Band is another Torchlight 11 competitor, and you know what their motto is? With our New Richmond pride, we entertain our audience to the best of our ability, and they are certainly doing that this evening.
Great sounding band. The theme of the next float from the St. Paul Winter Carnival is It's a Small World. It brings to life the 1987 Winter National Button. Handmade dolls with hand-painted faces representing various countries revolve around the globe. It was designed and built by 20 employees of the American National Bank. Riding on the float tonight are Winter Carnival's 4 winds and princesses: Ed Jehovah, Mary Jane Tebow, Steve Katainen, Mary Holman, Dick Cruz, and Mindy Rumka, Tom Ricker, and Lori O'Malley. Now, next year's Winter Carnival, by the way, will run from January 27th through February 7th, and TV 11 will be the official sponsor of the Torchlight Parade on Saturday, February 6th. But, of course, they're going to have to wait for things to get a bit chilly before they can really celebrate.
It's a small world, and it looks like some of those guys have to walk a long ways tonight.
The other thing about that, you get that theme in your head, it stays in your head for about 2.5 years at a time. Yeah.
Next we have WLTE FM 103 presents Summertime with a Light FM. 6 majestic Clydesdale horses are pulling a handcrafted brass-trimmed wagon. Twinkle lights adorn the horses and wagon in a fashion very similar to the Disney electric parades. The Light FM certainly knows its lights. Riding in the wagon are station staff members and air personalities, including Kelly Ryan, Bill Brady, Paul Geiger, and Orly Knudsen.
Those Clydesdales may mistake Willard for Ed McMahon. We could have an accident
here.
Oh,
no, I hope
Willard.
not. Now, the station is 18 years old this year and proud to be part of the Minneapolis Aquatennial tonight, and it's a beautiful addition to the parade.
Very beautiful horses.
Let's hope our Paul Douglas and Willard don't get too close to him and get stepped on. Oh, no.
Willard, have you noticed these things yet? The only objects in the parade route larger than you.
I love them. And you know, they come from Scotland on the body banks of the River Clyde. That's where their name comes from. I love them to death.
Well, they are beautiful.
And the beer they represent isn't bad either. That wouldn't say, hey, brother, favorite FM station, #1. Hey, what do you say, Camp? Want to buy some Tupperware?
Want some land on the bridge, buddy?
We'll make a deal. Thank you. See you after the show.
All righty.
My kind of guy.
Well, take a look at this charming paddle boat float. It was built by the St. Paul Yacht Club members in 1,000 hours. It's a real crowd pleaser, especially when the hinge stacks and pilot house are lowered at the last minute to fit under skyways. Those actually have to come down to go underneath the skyways as it passes through downtown.
And they have to maneuver around all kinds of things tonight.
Absolutely. Riding on the float tonight are the St. Paul Winter Carnival's King Boreas, Ted Steichen, Queen of the Snow, Sandra Swenson, and Prime Minister Tim Hughes. St. Paul Yacht Club's Commodore Robert Jones and Marge Jones joins them. Finally, King Boreas and I might add Willard Scott's Mighty Protectors, the 1987 King Guards under the direction of Captain M. Zarbinski. Ooh, some shots were fired. Was Willard hit?
I don't know, but I see the Vulcans have surrounded Willard down there.
Willard, are you all right? Paul, is Willard all right?
Yes, I'm keeping an eye on him.
What's that?
Women of all
Holy
shapes,
mackerel,
sizes,
wait a
and
minute.
colors are running
I
for
didn't
cover
do
here.
it.
Do it.
I didn't do
it.
it.
Show Willard what the Vulcans do in St. Paul.
Canis Rex the 50th,
I'm
the
a
true
man.
king of the St. Paul Winter Carnival, you hereby knight thee, Willard, Prince of Precipitation and Perspiration.
And what an honor that is.
Oh my gosh, what are they doing to
boy.
Willard?
Hey, this is the best thing that's happened to me. Just like, hey, baby.
He's been mobilized.
Fantastic.
Well, here comes the ninth entry in the Torchlight 11 band competition. Oh. Take a look at the Osseo High School Marching Band with Lon Anderson directing. This group of 170 students travels all over the great state of Minnesota during the summer months. They reign as grand champion in Montevideo and have won first place awards at Waite Park for the past 3 years. They also won Sportsmanship Award in Saturday's Grand Day Parade. Now, every other year, they take their show on the road. And last year, the band took top honors in the National Independence Day Parade in our nation's capital. Here they come, so let's listen in.
Association proudly presents their queen, Donita Moon, from International Falls, and Princess September Muller from Arlington, Minnesota, as they accompany the Eden Prairie horses. The horses you see tonight are fully lighted and stand on the average about 15 hands high. They represent many breeds from proud Arabians and paints to sturdy quarter horses and Appaloosas. Now, the Western Saddle Clubs Association has over 17,000 members who show their horses in both pleasure classes and games.
And before we go away here, we want to remind you that coming up once again is our $11,000 cash-in on 11 call. If you're in the phone book, you can be a winner.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, 4 more Queen candidates as our coverage of the Torchlight Parade continues.
Miss Redwing.
Hello, good times going down. Getting hungry, cruising around. Hello, fresh, and all that cheese. Wrap it up now, baby, please. Say goodbye, old scene. Hello, hello, Taco Bell.
Attention car buyers, don't buy anything until you see this. Now, buy any Mazda 626 in stock and choose $900 in options free from Mazda or get $900 cash back. Buy one of these 323s in stock and choose $500 in options free from Mazda or get $500 cash back. Use cash back toward your down payment or get a check from Mazda. Hurry! Get $900 on 626 or $500 on 323 today.
I remember. My first reaction was, why me?
Breast cancer. If detected early, it doesn't have to change your life. That's why Group Health gave over 14,000 mammograms last year, one of the largest programs in Minnesota. It lets Group Health doctors find and treat the cancer before it becomes a matter of life and death.
Thank God for that mammogram.
Group Health, quality health care for life.
Something good is coming up. Gonna get the Bisquick down. Good morning, Bisquick pancakes. Coming up golden brown. Bisquick morning, watch it rise. Something good is coming up when you get
Back with a very nice picture of the parade route from Sky 11, Max Mesmer and photographer Tom Impey.
It's a beautiful night for a parade.
And now we're back with our next float of the evening from the Knights of Columbus. And Diana has a very special announcement concerning this float.
That's right. Tonight's parade judges have given a special award to the Knights of Columbus. They have given them the Judges Award for their float.
Very beautiful looking float. The float depicts the Christopher Columbus flagship, the Santa Maria, and it's surrounded by pennants and flags, including a flag from each of our 50 states. Dignitaries riding on the float tonight, Reverends Roman Glatz and Richard Y., along with Philip Harder, Jim McLaughlin, Leo Fair, John Duffy, and the Knights of Columbus royalty, Queen Marie Rudolph and Princess Mona Basquiat. 50-foot long float, it's 8 feet wide and 12 feet high, not to be mistaken with Willard Scott.
No.
No, not at all. Very beautiful float.
It is. They look like they're having a lot of fun this evening.
Great way to see the parade as
It
well, at
is.
least the people who are lining the parade route.
And soon you'll be hearing the patriotic medley performed by the River Falls High School Marching Wildcat Band. The Wildcats took first place in the 1986 Wisconsin State Field Competition, but they count their top honors at Cheyenne, Wyoming Frontier Days Rodeo Parade as their most exciting win. Director Leroy Lee has also taken the band on a road for performances in Denver, Colorado, and at the Mount Rushmore National Memorial. The community of River Falls is proud to acclaim the Marching Wildcats as their goodwill ambassadors, and they are another 11 Torchlight competitor tonight. They are wearing royal blue trousers with a yellow stripe, yellow gold blouse trimmed in white and royal blue, and a white cummerbund and blue hats. The Marching Wildcats.
This woman plays a very important role in the life of Willard Scott and Paul Douglas. Now, before Paul comes to work, without fail, every day, he sits down to watch this woman on TV. And as soon as Willard Scott finishes the Today Show every day, he runs home to watch, what else? Santa Barbara. That's true. Both men absolutely in love with Judith McConnell, one of NBC's stars. Of course, the soap opera, Santa Barbara. There she is, looking rather beautiful tonight. Paul, Willard, are your hearts about to melt?
Listen, I want you to
boil,
eat your heart out, Paul. She was my dinner date tonight.
Was she really?
Yes, she was sitting right next to me, and she kept telling me she
No,
begged,
wait a second.
she
Now,
pleaded.
this is the guy. Look at this. The makeup people are on strike. Take a look.
Hello there.
It looks great, though, Willard. It really does.
This is what's called a rush job. I had the pleasure of sitting next to her just to inhale the loveliness of this
She
woman.
is a darling. Of course, she
Pretty
plays
lady.
Sophia Capwell of the powerful Capwell family, arch rival of the Lockridge family. She studied acting at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh.
And formerly the Augusta McLeod of General Hospital, and Valerie Conway on As the Worm Turns, one of my favorite
There's
fishing shows.
something
Here she
like
is,
that.
Judith McConnell, a beautiful lady. If I could get her attention, watch how she... Tell him, hey, Judith, remember me.
Oh, look
See,
at that.
I told you, I told
Look at that reaction. Go for it, Willard. Good grief.
Woo, woo, woo. Sorry about that.
Paul and Di.
Thank you very
Hello,
much.
baby. ¿Qué pasa?
We're going to have to drag Willard back over the bridge
That's
here.
right. Well, we have some familiar faces coming up here.
Right now it's the WCCO television float right there. Our friends from Channel 4. This colorful gazebo float is from WCCO television. And riding are Tony Saffold, Marshall Fleur, Dave Nimmer, Mark Rosen, perhaps, right there. Tony Vigneri, Alan Cox, Carolyn Lowe, Pat Kessler, Jim Newman, Terry Sater, Mike Strand, Ava Thompson, Trish Van Pilsen, Jim Rupp, and Ron Henberg. Oh, no, they're not on the float tonight.
Okay.
No,
Dave Moore's on the float.
Yeah,
We
there's
didn't list
everybody
him.
right there.
Who's
Alan
back
Cox
at the
right
station?
there waving at you.
They've
Dave
got
Moore up
everybody
top.
on the float tonight.
And playing those familiar tunes tonight, the St. Louis Park Community Band. Have fun, folks.
Now, we've seen a lot of excellent, exciting marching bands tonight, and I'm sure the Torchlight 11 judges are having a very difficult time choosing a winner, and they still have one more band to evaluate. It's the 100-member Mankato area 77 Lancers Band here tonight, representing all city schools in Mankato, Minnesota. The 70 musicians and 30 auxiliary squad members march under the direction of Ted Gillickson, who, by the way, was a three-time member of the Walt Disney World's All-American Marching Band. Bob Gosbetter also shares the regular duties. The Lancers have been marching in parades throughout Minnesota this summer, so let's listen as to what they might be playing.
All right, don't touch that dial, Charlie, because we're coming right back. But before we go away, 4 more Aquatennial Queen candidates. We'll be right back.
Jennifer Tallrood, Miss Richfield. Carrie Schmidt, Miss Robbinsdale. Brenda Anners, Miss Rogers Hassan. Karen Corbett, Miss Rockford.
Racing on the water, just you and me. Running wild, running free. Run, 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 Kawasaki.
Jet Ski Watercraft by Kawasaki. The ultimate water pistol.
Fly across the water on a jumping jet. Kawasaki gets the good times wet. Fun, 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 Kawasaki.
See your local Kawasaki dealer today.
All feeling blue incurably. But the cure is there. Valley Fair!
Gonna have a lot of fun, gonna laugh, gonna holler. Being bored all summer has hot around the collar. But now we never wonder what we're gonna do. Do something can't do. Valley Fair's the cure for the summertime blues. Captain Ken's the good taste of America. There's something special in every bite. Old-fashioned flavor and it tastes just right.
Whenever you cook out or barbecue, remember my Captain Ken's oven baked beans. Look for them in the freezer section of your favorite grocery. When you serve Captain Ken's, you've added a touch of the very best.
Levitt Super Sale. Every piece of furniture in every Levitt showroom has been reduced. But hurry, it starts tomorrow. You'll love it at Levitt's.
Welcome back to the Aquatennial Parade and one of the truly spectacular floats of the evening. This is the Domino's Pizza Float. And Diana, this float has won another special award, hasn't
That's right. It's won the Skipper's Award tonight.
That is the award for the most unique float in the parade. That again going to the Domino's Pizza people. Now, falling dominoes in a space-age delivery car highlight this red, white, blue float sponsored by Domino's Pizza. Now, the people riding on the float are Domino's Pizza employees from the Twin Cities region. They're no doubt getting a night off work. Instead of running around delivering pizzas, they're watching out for those falling domino pizzas.
That's
now,
right.
the float, when you include that tow unit, is 70 feet long. This is one of the largest floats in the parade. There's 2 lucky young people who,
That's right.
as I mentioned, don't have to go to work tonight. Now,
And of course, if it was up to us, we would have given them an award just because that's what we eat half the time at Channel 11.
That's true. Well, we're such good cooks, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Di, what are we cooking tonight? Well, phone
Domino's
Domino's.
Pizza,
There you
right.
go. Now, it's obvious, judging by that right there, the Noid at least didn't get a hold of this float, by the way.
One of our award winners tonight.
Absolutely.
Coming up next from Williston, North Dakota, the Williston High School Marching Band. It's a special thrill for this band to be here tonight because it's been almost 15 years since they've taken their show on the road. They hope this trip will serve as a starting point for a new tradition and perhaps lead to more national appearances. In addition to hours of practice, the 98 Williston musicians held a number of fundraisers for their trip, including a pancake breakfast and a turkey feed. Both, they've truly got spirit and spunk. And as we're about to hear, some good sounds. Obviously a band level.
You got the rhythm down.
Now those uniforms can be very hard, but we really have a brisk wind out tonight, so I'm sure that's keeping a lot of the band members cool.
It's cooled down quite nicely. Coming up next, Swedes take note. There it is, the Svenskarnas dog float, which features the Torchlight Parade's visiting queens. Now riding in the center of the float from Sweden is Queen Pernilla Strömquist. Did I get that right, Diana?
You got that right, Paul.
Strömquist. Other visiting queens are Cara Jean Cooper from San Antonio, Texas, Renee Elise Pearson from Portland, Oregon, the Rose Festival, Jane Fayman from Bismarck, North Dakota, and Sarah Jo Wheeler from Aberdeen, South Dakota. Sandy Swinson represents the St. Paul Winter Carnival, and Gina Fridella came all the way from St. Petersburg, Florida. So a warm Minnesota welcome to these women who proudly represent their cities tonight.
Next, we have Hennepin County Commission Chairman Mark Andrews and his wife, Connie. Andrews served as a chairman of the Social Services. I guess that's not his wife. That's got to be a friend. He served as the Social Services Committee for 4 years prior to becoming Commission Chairman. He has lived in Minneapolis all of his life, and he loves the area and its social celebrations, particularly the Aquatennial and tonight's Torchlight Parade.
Getting a rousing hand from
That's
the people
right. He
here.
has a daughter, Samantha.
Coming up next, the U of M Alumni Band, the Minnesota Alumni Band.
And we're going to go down to Paul and Willard.
That's right. Goldie the Gopher.
And roller skating starts. You know, there's an act. We haven't said this tonight, I don't think, at this point. These people have been in this parade. It's cool and breezy and much nicer now. But earlier in this parade, these kids were really, I mean, performing troopers, because not only did they do their job beautifully, but they were hot. I mean, in more ways than one. They were terrific.
Let me see if I can get Goldie. You keep
Talk
talking.
to here. Here's a microphone. Want a microphone?
Goldie.
Here's a microphone. Take. Goldie's going to do an interview right now.
I don't know if Goldie talks. I'll tell you guys what, the Minnesota Rouser has everybody on their feet here. Let's listen to that. When's the first football game? The home game, do you know?
August. I'm not exactly sure. The end of August.
Okay. End of August. First football game. All right, we're looking forward to a great season.
Hey, baby, congratulations. What a fantastic act you are.
There's Goldie.
We got Goldie right over here.
Do you have anything to say? No. You enjoying yourself?
I got a song I'll bet he's never heard before. Who do you go for, gopher, gopher? I go for you. Bum, bum.
It's not a... rather obscure, but it was the... from the heart. From the heart. Paul and I. Well, I'll tell you what, that band gets everybody going.
It sure does. Everybody standing up. Those who've been sitting down before are now standing.
Even if you're not an alumnus of the University of Minnesota, I think you had to get up on your feet on that one.
Absolutely.
Now, when you go to put syrup on your pancakes, many of you may reach for log cabin syrup. But did you know that 100 years ago, a Northeast grocer by the name of Towel formulated that syrup, and he named it Log Cabin after his boyhood hero, Abraham Lincoln, riding on the float right there. Mr. Towel manufactured the product for 40 years before selling it to the General Foods Corporation in 1927. And I know for a fact that every night when we order the Domino's pizza, Diana puts Log Cabin syrup on her half of it.
Now, did you have to tell him my secret, Paul?
Just one of your quirks. I decided to let slip out. The float is a replica of the log cabin tin, which was how the syrup was packaged before World War II. That was because of shortage of materials, it became necessary to sell log cabin in bottles. Very interesting history behind that.
That's right. You know, a very important break is coming up now. Very important phone call is coming up for one lucky family.
So I'll tell you what, let's go away, and eventually we'll bump into Barry Zavan.
That's right.
Sarah Miller, Miss Sauk Center. Brenda Volker, Miss Sleepy Eye. Laura Kruckberg, Miss St. Louis Park. Dawn Rhyme, Miss Spicer.
Hi, I'm Barry Zavan, and it's time to play a very special cash in on 11. This Torchlight Parade night. Here's the information you'll need to win. Torch is the clue for this call. $11,000 is the amount. 11,000 Torch. Stay tuned. You could be our next winner. We hope you are.
Lately, shopping at Best Buy has become so popular, people want to buy everything in our stores.
Where's the bakery?
Probably because of our huge selection,
Sweat socks.
our great service,
Excuse me, where are the fondue sets?
and our guaranteed lowest prices.
You got a muffler for a Buick?
But remember, at Best Buy, we just sell stereos, TVs, appliances, and cameras at very low prices.
My wife says you have cat litter.
Looks can be deceiving, but when it comes to dairy foods, there's an easy way to tell you're not getting some cardboard imitation. Always look for the real seal, the sign of genuine dairy foods. Look for the seal and know it's real.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
There are lots of good, healthy reasons to eat real cheese, but some people eat it just for the fun of it.
Glorious cheese.
Okay, we have Mr. Gilger on the line from Edina. Do you know the clue and the amount?
Say it again, Barry.
Do you know the clue and the amount?
The crew?
Yes.
No, Barry, I don't. I know your program, but I just don't happen to know your answer today.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm so sorry, too.
But we hope that you're enjoying the parade tonight, and maybe we'll...
Yes, and that was the reason I don't know anything about you.
I see, okay.
Okay, Barry.
Well, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Well, we're going to go back to normal tomorrow. We could be calling you tomorrow when our call will be worth $311. We play cash in on 11 weekdays sometime between 3 and 7 p.m. You only need to be tuned to TV 11 to know that day's clue and dollar amount and have your name in our drum. See you tomorrow.
A 50-member unit appears in community events throughout the state and also participates in fundraising activities to support the Shriners Hospital Twin Cities unit. The drum corps is led by this year's president, Charlie Wolford of Golden Valley. Represents nearly 12,000 members from all over Minnesota.
And you know what? You know what they'd be happy to know tonight?
What's that?
They'd be real tickled to know that the Twins won tonight, beating New York, beating the Yankees 3-1.
3-1. Go
Very
Twins.
Good news right there, huh?
Zura is the 12th largest shrine temple in North America.
Well, coming up next, in the spirit of a long tradition of circus parades, circus restaurants present this colorful cavalcade of kids, clowns, and animals. This circus caravan is 33 feet long and 11 feet high. And there's Bumper, the circus clown, and Walter the Walrus, waving and inviting you to visit circus restaurants, the greatest show in the Twin Cities. Now, trivia question for those of you at home, and you, Diana. Where and when did the first circus take place? I know you know the answer, so go ahead and tell the people at home.
Well, it says right in front of me.
Right off the top of your head.
4,000 years ago on the island of Crete.
Now, the first complete circus as we know it today began in
1793, that I didn't know.
The first three-ring circus was formed in 1881 by
Barnum and Bailey.
Now
let's go down to Willard Scott. I think he's down. Oh, boy,
I'm looking at the best-looking crowd. I tell you, I've fallen in love about 400,000 times in this crowd. This is the prettiest crowd in the world. What a good-looking man. I didn't fall in love with him, but I like him. There you go.
Well, Willard, do you know who's coming up?
Who's that?
A fella, you've been to this city. There he is on the screen right there. You've been to this town in Australia.
Wagga Wagga, Australia. There was a lady who was 102 years old, and I wished her a happy birthday. And I had this fellow Mark Robinson was at dinner tonight, and we also talked about the Gumi Festival. I don't know if am I supposed to go over and interview him?
Why don't you just go out and say hello?
I just wanted to say hello to him because absolutely everybody in the United States, Australia, New Zealand, the two best places in this world to go for vacations. They love Americans. They treat you right. The food's good. The people are beautiful. Hey,
Willard.
Paul, baby.
All right, Willard.
That's a Crocodile Dundee lives.
Thanks, Willard. Okay. High tech is the hit Torchlight Parade tonight. Here from the hit movie is RoboCop, the ultimate law enforcer. This is the first time lasers have ever been used on a float. And by lasers, we mean high-powered, water-chilled argon lasers. Three-phase, 45-kilowatt generator, believed to be the largest in Aquatennial history, powers the two lasers that is behind this gentleman here, RoboCop. Light, smoke machine, a computer, and sound. Now, this is a special costume from Orion Pictures. The float was designed by Orion Pictures Corporation. The music we'll be hearing from it is from the RoboCop soundtrack.
And the movie's doing quite well, isn't it? Right now, representing Robbinsdale is the Robbinsdale City Band. Mike Server is marching director, drum major, and Dr. Roger Thompson is the director. Now, between 1948 and 1971, this band received 19 first-place awards in the Torchlight Parade. Let's listen into what makes them so great.
Because my nephew, Mark Dargis, is in this band. He plays the clarinet, and he's in the almost last row.
So long, Mark.
That's the Robbinsdale Band, and goodbye, Mark. I'll see you later. Our friends from Barrett Moving and Storage are the sponsors of the next float, featuring one half of the 44 candidates for the coveted title, Queen of the Lakes. New queen will be crowned Thursday at the International Market Square, and Paul and I will be the MCs. Young women from festivals all over the state of Minnesota compete each year for the Aquatennial Queen Crown. And we hope you've enjoyed seeing the candidates throughout tonight's telecast, and there are still 4 more candidates for you to see.
Hey, look what's coming up, everybody. Get ready, because celebrating its 20th year of business is Captain Ken's Firehouse Beans. Ooh. This 1891 Aaron steam fire engine is pulled by 3 registered American white horses named Katie, Laddie, and Lassie. Laddie, by the way, was my father's name. Yeah.
Very nice.
A good-looking unit there, huh?
Now, marching down the street right now in traditional Big Ten show style is the Lakeville Senior High School Marching Band. And drum major Steve Popacek and director Nathan Earp lead the way. This band performed in 1985 at the Gator Bowl Festival in Jacksonville, Florida. And for several years, they were the featured band at the Minnesota All-Star High School football game. But I've got to tell you this, one of their most memorable performances took place last year after the Aquatennial. Now, a man requested that the band be present when he proposed to his future wife. He had his fiancée flown to the school parking lot in a helicopter. He drove up in a limo and popped the question as the band played on as they are now.
We're going to go away, and you're going to meet the last 4 of the Aquatennial Queen candidates. We'll be right back for continuing coverage.
Debbie Schreier, Miss Spring Lake Park. Ann Swanson, Miss Finskarnestad. Kimberly Trozen, Miss Ferndale. Kimberly Flattable, Wilmer Coffee Fest Queen.
How do you get a reputation?
Steak fajitas, Taco Bell, tonight? Fabulous.
How do you get a reputation? Word of mouth. New steak fajitas. Think of it as a Mexican steak sandwich.
My dad didn't have the words to tell me he loved me. But then, he didn't have to. See, they were written all over his face.
And now that all your work is done,
Hello?
I've gone
Dad. Hi.
Hey, son. They're not working you too hard, are they?
No, Dad.
I won't drift away.
Long distance from Northwestern Bell. Don't drift away.
Imagine golden grams and you and me. That crispy graham and honey taste was meant to be a part of your complete breakfast, and naturally so happy together. Ooh, that golden honey and graham cracker taste of golden grams.
A blizzard is coming. A Dairy Queen blizzard. Free with this coupon on specially marked boxes of Golden Grahams and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Earlier you saw the first 22 candidates for the title of 1987 Aquatennial Queen of the Lakes. Now please welcome the final 22 contestants. Each year the Aquatennial Queen travels extensively throughout the United States and Canada on behalf of the festival. And in 1987 the Queen of the Lakes went all the way to Australia. The new Queen Court float was built for the festival by Pete Tollinger and a group of volunteers from Rochester, Minnesota. 22 beautiful young ladies, and
tomorrow night,
one of them will become Queen of the Lakes.
The U.S. Army Recruiting Command presents a bit of history, the Colonial Old Guard Color Guard. This group represents the oldest unit in the U.S. Army going back to the days of the Revolutionary War. Men are wearing exact replicas of the uniforms worn by enlisted men of the 3rd Infantry when it was organized in 1784. Complete with cocked hats, white stockings, and knee breeches, rifle bearers carry replicas of the original Brown Bess muskets used during that period.
And they're followed by the 451st Army Band. It's an Army Reserve unit stationed at Fort Snelling. This 50-piece marching and concert band is composed of Army reservists. The group is just back from a 2-week concert tour in Alaska, and let's hear what they have to play. They're playing the official Army song under the direction of Chief Warrant Officer Bruce J. Hedlum and Drum Major Staff Sergeant Merle Danielson.
They're in good step tonight, aren't they?
They sound and look sharp.
Here you go, wedged in between Channel 4 and Channel 11. KSTP TV's Float, a floating TV. Accompanying the balloon from Channel 5 are Stan Turner, Bruce
Right out
Spencer,
front there.
Steve Edelman, there's Jason Davis, there's Steve Edelman right there, and his wife Sharon Anderson is somewhere in there as well. They're going to have a tough time when they go across the Mississippi on that bridge where the wind is just howling up the river.
I hope they've got a lot of people to anchor that down, because it certainly will pick up when they go across the bridge.
They may need a bit of help.
Now named the nation's #1 open class band in 1986, here are the last marching musicians of the evening, the Forest Lake City Marching Band. Since this group was founded in 1981, it has grown from 40 to 120 members. The average age of the band members is about 35 years, and they sport a real esprit de corps that melds talent and pride into something magical. Roland Nelson is the director, Dave Volker is the drum major. It brings back fond memories when I used to do that. And one time I actually singed a portion of my hair.
I was actually never in a marching band because I always got lost. They just simply wouldn't let me do it after the first parade. I was missing for a week. Willard, are you down there hanging in with us?
Willard's still there. I can see him.
I tell you what, I'm eating some of Channel 5's chocolates. They're pretty good. I got a mouthful.
Well, Willard, I want to tell you something. Earlier in the evening, we told you that we sort of toot our own horn here. The KARE 11 float won the Admiral Award for excellence in theme.
There's
Legend
no
sales. You know what else happened tonight?
What else?
We also won the Commodore Award. That was just announced just now. That had to be judged during the parade because the Commodore Award is for best illumination. And that's based on 3 criteria.
A scale of 1 to 10 for effectiveness, quality, and creativity. And by golly, the KARE 11 float came out on top.
I'd expect nothing less from Channel 11. It's the #1 channel in my book.
How about
After
this?
all, what is 11 but 2 1s? You're #1 twice.
How about this band, Willard, the Forest Lake City Band?
Best in the whole parade. Best parade I've seen since I've been here. Which band is it?
Wait a minute, what's this? What's this?
Look at that.
Willard, have you seen this coming up the parade route behind the band here?
No, I'll tell you.
Paul Douglas is driving a convertible, and I don't know if his insurance is up to date, so watch yourself,
I think
all right?
he's looking for you, Willard.
Do you think I can hitch a ride? I need a couple more sliders. I've been here for 2 hours and I'm getting just a tad hungry.
Hopefully there's something less than a $500 deductible on this thing.
Let's see what happens. I've had a big evening so far. I saw $500 with a Mary Hart's foot. So let's see if I can see $1,000 worth of Paul's face. There he is. Let's see.
By
Hey,
the
big
way,
boy.
Paul Douglas is driving a Southdale
Going my way,
Ford.
big guy.
And that was part of all the
Right over here.
new Mustang
Hey,
convertibles
you got
tonight.
a lift for a veteran?
You look like an undesirable, but I'm willing.
Would you take my microphone,
Well,
please?
Willard, we hope you
Well,
enjoyed your
have a
stay
good
with us.
time.
I'll see you later.
All righty.
And there he goes.
Willard and Paul off riding into the sunset of this. Well, that's how Willard mounts his car every day.
Oh, no.
Actually, I think there's quite
I
a
hope
flat-
they can ride him before he goes on any further.
quite a flattering shot of
It is. It's a
of
horrible
Willard there,
shot.
isn't it?
You think we should take pictures of this and send it back to the Today Show crew?
See, I think Willard's used to a limousine, actually. I think that's how
And
he
having
goes to
somebody
work
open the door
every
for
day,
him.
Yeah, rather than just Route 66. He's not.
No, there we go.
There we
Got
go.
him
Willard
righted.
is upright. He's looking
He
good.
looks wonderful. Oh, now he gets all the
A hug
good
from a
deals.
fan,
Yeah,
yeah.
he does.
Of course, Paul Douglas is driving him, so it might be quite a ride.
Well, coming up next, 20 not so fearful but also motley pirates. They're now seen as escorts for Her Royal Majesty Queen of the Lakes, Sandra Bolesky. The pirates in real life are all members of the Roosevelt High School dance line. This year's Aquatennial competition winners, Julie Seifert and Crystal Roden, are the captains. They're not really that motley. They look pretty darn cute.
And now, tonight's most celebrated royalty, the 1986-87 Queen of the Lakes, Sandra Bolesky, and her princesses Anne Minx and Jodie Peterson.
What a beautiful float.
Very beautiful. These young women hold a place of honor in the float's castle and are guarded by 2 huge animated smoke-breathing sea serpents. This beautiful new Aquatennial float is a former Tournament of Roses winner, originally designed for Singapore Airlines. It's been customized for the Aquatennial to take on a more fitting aquatic look. And you know what? After tonight, Sandra's reign is over.
Tomorrow night.
We'll be crowning a new
That's
queen.
right.
Yeah.
But you'll have lots of memories to think back on, especially after tonight's parade.
She should really enjoy that tonight. It's her night.
Now, what an evening it has been, full of all kinds of beautiful things.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been fun working with you as well. We want to thank you at home for joining us, and be sure to watch us again next year when once again TV 11 will be the official Torchlight Parade
Station. You'll see it here on this channel.
And tonight I think I'm Paul Majors
And I'm
You're
Diana Pierce. Stay tuned now for
tough
News
time
11
with that.
with Joan Steffen and Kevin McDowell. They'll have News 11 coming right up.
Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
you for joining KARE TV for the official telecast of the 48th Annual Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. Brought to you by your neighborhood Taco Bell restaurants, who invite you to say hello to their new steak fajitas. Celebrity accommodations by the Whitney Hotel. And now, stay tuned for News 11.
When Slumberland puts together a bedding package, chances are no one's going to beat it. Right now, we'll give you an outstanding price on a quality Serta extra firm mattress and box spring. Just $178 for the twin set, $238 for the full set, $288 for the queen set, $368 for the king set, and that's not all. You'll also get a solid metal bed frame, pillows, and a complete set of linens when you buy the Serta mattress and box spring on sale at Slumberland. Can you beat that? I doubt it.
No other cows have our style or grace. We're the breed that gives camps its great taste. The secret of camps, it's the cows.
We hate to start a battle, but those other cows are cattle.
The secret of camps, it's the cows.
Kemp's ice cream, it's the cows.
Moo.
Captain Ken's the good taste of America. There's something special in every bite. Old-fashioned flavor and it tastes just right.
Whenever you cook out or barbecue, remember my Captain Ken's oven baked beans. Look for them in the freezer section of your favorite grocery. When you serve Captain Ken's, you've added a touch of the very best.
Ugh. Why can't I ever take decent pictures? Where did I go wrong?
Maybe to the wrong photo finisher. Look, if they gave you bum photos, ProX will fix them. Free. Bring us your most disappointing pictures, plus their negatives, and we'll reprint a few, just to show you how much better ProX makes them look.
See, I can take decent pictures.
ProX. You won't be disappointed.
Maybe I should turn pro.
Be there for the KARE WLOL Aquatennial Ice Cream Social and Sky Concert.
Presented by the American Dairy Association at St. Anthony, Maine River Place, July 26th.